And welcome back to Sidewalks. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Well, right now, our East Coast correspondent, Darren Paltrowitz, has an interview with actor Sope Dirisu, who plays undercover police officer Elliot Carter, and Corin Hardy, one of the directors of the hit British drama Gangs of London, now streaming in America on AMC+.
Beautiful. Thank you both for joining me. How's the day going aside from answering the same questions from journalists over and over and over again?
I'm enjoying it so far. We've had some good different questions, so it's always exciting.
Yeah, no pressure, Darren. Like, you got to give us something new.
Okay, here's a cliche one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How much of Elliot is there in you, the human being?
Some, but not lots, is what I'm going to go with on that.
The good side, the smiling stuff.
Okay.
I can't remember a single. There's one time he smiles in the whole series. That's right at the end. So.
I was going to say, I made you.
Yeah, it's almost like professional wrestling in real life, where you realize that the bad guys are the nicest human beings on earth, and they're just getting that out on screen, and then they can relax. Is that the case kind of for you?
Are you saying that Elliot's a bad guy?
In his mind, maybe not, but we're not spoiling anything. So we'll throw the next one to Corin. How much of fake Shemp is there in you?
Oh, good question. Here we go. You know your stuff. Well, certainly there's a sort of little dark humor inside me that enjoys putting little, Easter eggs and things like that. So there's a few little geek details throughout the season that you may or may not spot. When you say fake Shemp, do you need me to explain that, or is that something everyone's going to understand?
We'll put that one in the notes. Is it Sam Raimi who kind of popularized that term?
Sam Raimi, yeah, from the Three Stooges, because they used to do a lot of close-ups of hands and things like that, which weren't played by the lead actors, and the directors would do that. And Sam Raimi did that in his Evil Dead films, and he'd do, it would be called fake Shemp. So I fake Shemped in season 1, and I gave myself that credit, and I think they allowed it in season 1. So yeah, it's my hand with the razor blade and going to Vicky Chung at night and things like that. And I popped myself in a sneaky little cameo in both seasons.
Yeah, that credit made its way to Wikipedia, but not IMDb, unfortunately.
Damn it, man.
When's
my film career going to take off?
Well, whether you knew that there was going to be a season 2 in the middle of season 1.
I mean, I think you always aspire to want to hope that could happen, but we were so concentrating on season 1, making it as good as possible. You don't have any, it's always down to the audience and the reception, and that determines it. So the answer is you hope, but you don't know.
I definitely think that we sort of, in hoping, we covered our bases and allowed ourselves the freedom of story for a second series. As there was a way of ending the first series where everything is like tied off in a lovely little bow, and that's a complete story in itself, and you move on, you leave it as a limited series. But I think there was a lot of promise and excitement in the first series whilst we were making it, and like whilst we didn't know whether or not we'd get a second one, we allowed ourselves the open-endedness for a second series.
When you, as an award-winning actor, when you know that you're in a role like this, do you want to see everything that's going to happen this season, or have you learned to take everything one episode at a time?
Oh man, that is an excellent question.
Every now and then I have one of those. It does not happen, but that one happened.
Because I'm sure different actors will answer it in different ways, but I feel for me, like there's definitely a desire to know what the bounded story is, to know what the beginning, middle, and end is, so that I can plot the character's journey. And I find that I've never been, maybe to an extent this year on season 2 is the first time this happened, whereas like you don't necessarily know what the end's going to be from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So it's not, sometimes you're a bit reactive to the material as it comes out, as opposed to like if you have a play or a film, you know the whole life of the character that's being shown in this project, mm-hmm. and you can sort of like Easter egg things for the end from the beginning. Like Shutter Island, for example, I think is an excellent version of those films, where, or like Memento, mm-hmm. Where when you watch it back, knowing the end, you can see the depth of the performance, because they've got the opportunity to sort of plant seeds that then come to germination later. And I think that's not always the case when the script is either, I heard these excellent stories of TV shows where they're writing as they're going because they're responding to the work that's being done in the earlier episodes. And that's great, because as an actor, you're like, oh, actually, if I work really hard and I do my work, they'll be rewarded with more scenes in the back end of the series. But but I enjoy knowing what the whole picture is, so I can paint it with all the colors rather than being like, I'm only going to use red because I don't know if I'm going to run out of blue later.
Good way of putting it. Corin, I have a question for you that this is meant to be a compliment. It doesn't initially sound like a compliment, but it is one. And I'm aware of your work before you found success in the TV realm of doing excellent music videos, which I've seen countless times, Keen, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you.
Nowadays in the US market, a show like, just a random example, Peaky Blinders, it is what it is. We love it for that. But I would say 10 years ago, British shows had to be more adapted to the US market, where they would go, can you Americanize that one? Because Americans don't know what the SAS is, that kind of thing. I'm curious when you started to see that it was okay to be yourself and present the shows the way that you thought they should be presented, as opposed to Americanizing for the local markets.
It's an interesting question. Again, I like your style. Truthfully,
stay, Darren, you can stay.
Truthfully, I was probably nervous about that before Gangs of London. I mean, I just finished The Nun. I was working on my version of The Crow when Gareth had contacted me, and I was kind of nervous for half that reason you illustrated. But mainly, it was like, I don't want to do a TV show that looks like a TV show. I want to do film, I want it to be cinematic. Will it limit us if it's a TV schedule, or I don't know, the limitations of television? But obviously over the last 10 or more years, things have become more and more sort of filmic, cinematic, and so, and I think knowing that Gareth was behind season 1 and knowing his aesthetic, and we share a lot of similarities in our love of genre and horror and martial arts or Korean revenge movies or John Woo movies. And so there was a sense of, well, if Gareth's kind of going to get away, they wouldn't have hired Gareth and tried to change him. So if he's able to do what he does brilliantly, maybe I can get away with some of my style as well. I wasn't really ever worried about being told to Americanize or anything like that. But the truth is, I was shocked at how little concern I had through both seasons. Everyone's been so supportive. There's never been those questions. There's never been those like mandates, and to do with like the levels of action or violence and committing to what it takes to pull off those action set pieces. There's never been, other than just the limitations of time and scheduling, we've just been supported. So it's never come up.
I'm so glad to hear that, because it shows on screen like a wonderful, uncompromised vision happening. So my last question before I let you two go is, obviously this is the best show on AMC Plus. Everyone knows that, but what's the second best show? Any recommendations?
On AMC Plus or generally?
AMC or Plus.
I mean, Walking Dead's, a lesser known show that's done all right.
Just a few people know that one, yeah.
What have I been watching? Mind block. Go on, Shopper, you got something you can say?
Dope 6 on Plus, isn't it?
I believe so.
I've heard good things about Dope 6.
Well, again, thank you both for your time. Continued success.
Game. I love Squid Game. I know it's not on AMC.
Nonetheless, I look forward to what's to come from both of you, series 3 or not, whatever it is. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. You can stream all the seasons of Gangs of London on AMC Plus. For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit us at sidewalkstv.com, our YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on social media.